White. White kicks back towards the half-back line and gets it out of play, and the throw-in will take place at right half forward for Claremont. We're 22 minutes into this third quarter. Claremont leads 17-13 to Subiaco's 2-4.
Lamentable, isn't it? When did they score their second goal, Ken? We'll just hold it for a moment because Evans has got it. Well tackled by Hutchinson. Coyle gets it to Hunter. Made a lot of moves, Bunter, to try and get this Subiaco side motivated, but they've shown nothing. McNish kicked the centre half forward. Padizza over the top of Willett. Crumbs to Edwards. He runs away very easily indeed. Kicks long towards full forward. Out comes Hutton. No mark, spoilt by Monaghan. Hutton's got the crumbs, runs into Cocker.
What about the elbow?
Hutton gets up, he runs into a tackle.
Hutton's had enough.
Throws Hutchinson away, and now Hutton's been dropped by Snow.
And that was seen. The umpire's seen it. There's a report.
Gee, that's terrible.
I thought Shane Cocker's elbow was unduly raised.
And that's what started it. Cocker elbowed Hutton. That's what started it.
Let's go back and have a look at it again. Here it is. Come on, Barry.
Yeah, that was it. That's where the first free kick should have been paid right there.
Hutton hasn't moved.
So the umpire really, I suppose we could say, has actually caused this little bit of a blue what's happened here now.
That's probably one of the most vicious incidents we've seen for a long time. Almost as vicious as the Handley-McNish one. In fact, what's the difference between the Handley-McNish one and what we've just seen there?
Well, that's it. I mean, Snow could easily be sent off for that.
Easily.
I mean, what is the difference? He's been reported. What is the difference between the Handley-McNish one and that callous act of Snow?
Well, that's the first one, and that went unpenalised, and that's what started.
Right in front of their eyes, that one.
He wasn't really hurt from that. He wasn't really hurt from that knock. He got up quickly and was standing quietly and standing just adrift of the play.
Well, unfortunately, we haven't got the incident where Snow absolutely crashed into Hutton from behind. Unnecessary and not particularly courageous.
It was a weak performance, to say the least.
He's melting away into the background, and as well he might.
John Hutton's had a history of trouble in his head, unfortunately. The Claremont Club doctor's been out there examining him for quite a long time.
He's dropped the kick. He's kicked 5 goals today, and I don't think that would do anything for the morale of Subiaco or their supporters. It's a good kick too.
But he's going to kick another one too.
He covered pretty quickly, but he's hooked it slightly and one behind the result.
Big kick.
Well, he's a very aggressive player. He's a very aggressive man, and he's been on the receiving end there of a very ordinary tackle from David Snow.
There's no doubt that Hutton, after getting the first one from Cocker, Hutton went back and applied a fairly solid body tackle on a Subiaco player. It was nowhere near as unnecessary as what was to follow from Snow, but 2 wrongs don't make a right, and the incident was certainly started by the Subiaco player Cocker. As the ball goes back towards the pocket, and Evans has taken a very good mark.
Taking a few of those today, Barry.
Yes, he's very good at that around the goals, and if you just watch there, like he just keeps his eye on the ball all the time. Very courageous player, and a player who we're going to see a lot more of.
6 marks to Tony Evans, 6 marks, 11 kicks, 5 effective hand passes.
So Evans lines up from about 25 metres out. He's on a 30-degree angle. Mightn't be quite that tight. And he has kicked truly. Evans has got his third. Claremont have their 18th, I think it is. We're just waiting for the scoreboard to change. 18-14 to 2-4.
And here it is again. And if you watch this mark, you'll see Evans, he keeps his eye on it all the way. He hasn't had a good season this year only because he's been injured for most of the year, and he's been frustrated with an injury. But when he's on top and he's firing, he can be a very good player, Tony Evans.
Well, Barry, in answer to Trevor's question when Subiaco kicked their last goal, that was at the 5.5-minute mark of the second quarter. John Georgiades at the 5.5-minute mark of quarter number 2.
What month was that, Kim?
The month of September, the sun is shining.
Kim. Hutchinson, the centre half forward. And the mark has been taken by McNish. McNish goes long. Drop punt on the way. Claremont are there in number. Ballantyne over the top. Willett was underneath the barrage of players there, and now they're getting mixed up. Panizza's in that. And he's not a vicious man by any stretch of the imagination. and Gilbert comes in to square up there with Willett.
They've thrown the ball in, Trev.
Well, play goes on to the side of the pack. Edwards squirted it out for guard. He's got a featherweight bump from Hutchinson. Mitchell tried to guide it around McNish, but lost his footing. Picked up by Cocker, who kicks the centre-half forward over the head of Connell. At the back, it's Willett. Bearing down on him is Beresford. Inboard to Simons, who lost his footing. Then gets around McGovern, but he was caught eventually. Cocker again. Hand pass towards McNish. Was a bit slick for him. He's in trouble on all fours to Willett. Willett from the pocket. Kicks to the square. Valentine over the top. Couldn't hang on. Kemp looking for a path. Finds it. And kicks it.
Listen to the ironical
yes. The most unlikely goal scorer too. He's had a dark day. The surprise selection. And Subiaco's third is on the board. On a very disappointing display for the Lions.
Yeah, it's a real scramble here in the forward line, isn't it? Oh, there's nearly a mark actually by the Claremont, and there's Kemp. Yeah, and he gradually gets around and bang. Yeah, it was nearly Valentine's mark.
100 points is the margin now, and we're into time on in the third quarter. The attendance this afternoon, 22,700. A very healthy attendance, as I said earlier, by modern day standards. But they would be very disappointed with what they've seen as far as the contest is concerned. If they are Claremont supporters, they would be ecstatic. Wolf takes clean possession. His hand pass was ineffective. Gives Kemp another chance. Diving on top of the ball was Edwards. Kemp went over the top of him. Dargy gets the ball backward of the pack and gets it to Hutchinson. Hutchinson goes out wide. Dargy running hard. He's been out of the game for a long time. Kicks towards full forward. Up goes Gilbert over the top. Burton is there for Claremont. Unable to get the ball away cleanly. Gets a hand pass further afield now. And Claremont run it out of defence brilliantly as Panizza spears the ball towards the outer wing. And it will run out of play midway between right centre wing and right half forward.
A powerful kick for a little man. We welcome our viewers around Western Australia to a lopsided grand final. And there's the scoreline. It's been a polished exhibition by the WAFL champions of this year, Claremont. And we'll give you some details of what has happened so far in a moment. At times, there's been a bit of spite in the game. A couple of heavy collisions. You saw another bit there from Malcolm Williams. He's been involved in a couple of incidents today. Mitchell over the top of Golding. Crumbs to kick it. He's been sensational. His kick, though, lands with White. He's got back up from Snow, who is involved in a very unsavoury incident with Hutton. He feeds Coyle. Coyle kicks towards Big Matthew Burton. He's done nothing today, unfortunately. He was dragged by Hayden Bunton. Maybe the occasion, maybe carrying an injury, who knows. It hasn't been Spider Burton that we know. Well, it took him a while to think that out. It was a flower-back punt that landed with Kemp, who's marked 40 metres out directly in front. Can Subiaco kick their four?
2 and a quarter.
I think they can, yes.
For the first time in the game.
It's been a disappointing exhibition by the Lions, who were expected to put up tough resistance to this machine from Tigerland, but they've been demoralised. That's through. Kemp has booted 2 goals. Gary Kemp with 2. Freeman's kicked 1 and Georgiades 1 for the Tigers. The stars for Claremont on the goal kicking list have been Hutton with 5 and Guard with 3. One miraculous early in the game. Evans with 2 and Mitchell with 2 are the main goal scorers for the Claremont side. It's 18-14, 122, 4-4-28. With me in commentary as we get close to three-quarter time, Wally Foreman, Barry Cable and Ken Casillas.
Well, David Snow is on report, and I would think he's been reported by just about every umpire on the ground for the knock that he applied to John Hutton from behind as Cocker goes up and wins the knock down to Simons. He's dispossessed, and Claremont try and bulldoze the ball out of the centre again. They've been getting it away with monotonous regularity this afternoon. McNish with a hurried kick towards centre half forward. Gilbert did pretty well. Connell's hand pass goes straight to Beresford. Beresford worked that out well. Straight back across the run of play to Panizza. And now Claremont try and work the ball around the outer wing as Hand takes yet another mark right on the siren. And at three-quarter time, Claremont lead 18-14 to 4-4. It's a margin of 94 points in favour of the Tigers. At quarter time they led by 43 points, 8-2 to 1-1. At half time it was 70 points, 13-7 to 2-3. And now it's 94 points, 18-14 to 4-4.
John Hutton, he's recovered. Tony Evans has been brilliant, dynamic at times today. And it's a very dispirited Lion side. And what a dark day it's been for the club. They were beaten in the Colts. They were beaten in the last kick of the match by South in the reserves. And they've been completely outplayed in this grand final here this afternoon. The biggest winning margin in the grand final, 104 points by West Perth against South Fremantle in 1975. And that's certainly in big danger, Barry.
It is the way that Claremont have played, and they've still got another quarter to go, and if they continue to keep playing the way they are and dominating around the ground, well then that score that your beloved club has may go. That man there in the picture there, Dale Kickett, he's played a magnificent game. Very good at the ball, and John Hutton, as we've just spoken about, Darryl Panizza, he's done his job, Tony Evans. So they'd be pretty confident at this stage, but they look as though they're not getting carried away with it. And there's Neesham there. He's been a marvellous coach for them this year, and I think this is his 4th or 5th year in a row, actually. He's got them into the grand final, and he's got a very good bunch of players there.
He's going to go down as one of WA's best ever coaches. His record will prove that. What's his future, though? Is it with Claremont or is it with an AFL club, do you think?
Well, it might be with the other AFL club. If we can arrange that in the next 2 or 3 years, you never know.
What about on the other side of the border?
Well, there's every possibility of that. I mean, his credentials are very good locally. I mean, there's not too many people that have coached better than him, you know, over 5 years.
He's even made good players out of mediocre players, players that have come to the club or come up from country areas. They've done some great recruiting, especially in the great southern areas. And the way he moulds footballers and moulds them into men is quite remarkable, really.
Yeah, I think that he's turned a lot of players around, although I must say that, you know, coaches are also made because you have to have the talent and the player's ability, of course. But at the same time, Neesham has done a very good job with them. And here's Subiaco, of course, they're looking at it from the other spectrum, I suppose, looking right down the barrel. What can they do at 3/4 time? And Hayden's got a real job on his hands here. And no doubt he'd be a bit frustrated, just like Snow was just before 3/4 time when he unceremoniously dumped Hutton.
Comments there from Barry Cable. And we mentioned Mick Lee.
It's been coming for ages.
Simpson medalist 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, in 1988 when Subiaco won the grand final. You won 3 Simpson medals in a row for Perth. That
yes,
was, a record that'll stand for some time.
In the heyday of Perth, 66, 67 and 68.
It's not easy to be the best player in a grand final, but when you're the best player in the grand final 3 times in a row, you're dealing with the champion.
Oh, you need a bit of luck too, I think. You know, get to know the umpires pretty well.
You didn't need that. A crowd of 22,700, far cry from the halcyon days, while of 56,000, 52,000 odd back in 1979, but still a good crowd today.
Yeah, that was the Derby grand final, I think, wasn't it?
It was.
That holds the record. But even, I think if you go back to the 60s, there was a West Perth grand final where they had over 50,000 that stood as the record for some time. So way back in those, 30-odd years ago, they were getting crowds of about 50,000. But that's the changing structure, of course, of football. And I don't think the league would be disappointed with this attendance here this afternoon. Those that are here would be very disappointed with the contest. But I think perhaps last week's game certainly encourage people to come. If I can just say very quickly, it was going to be an interesting exercise to see how the public responded to the Eagles' performance yesterday, as to whether or not they'd had enough good footy, good results for the weekend, or whether that was going to whet their appetite for more, and I think it's actually whetted their appetite for more.
Ken, who are the leading half dozen players for Claremont that have caused this destruction and dismantling of Subiaco?
Well, one of my favourite players, Rob Malone, in the centre. He's handled the ball more than any other player in the field. He's been so good in the centre that Subiaco were forced to move Sandover medalist Ian Dargy off him early in the second quarter. Malone's had 6 marks, 18 kicks and 9.
Armstrong has been listening to Hayden Bunton and Gerard Neesham. What do they have to say, Tanya?
Subiaco coach Hayden Bunton, well, what do you say when your team's 20 goals behind at 3/4 time in a grand final? He said all they can do is try to pinpoint a teammate when they kick the ball. He's moved Mitchell White to centre half forward to give them a bit of drive in the forward line. He wants him to move around a bit, and he says they've got the win so they can improve the scoreboard. Gerard Neesham says they've come to perform until the end, and that's what he wants his team to do. He says if they continue to play at that level for the next quarter, he'll be a very happy man.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Thank you for your reports during the course of the year. And we may hear from her at the end of the match if we can grab someone from Tigers.
94 points is the margin in favour of Claremont at the start of the final quarter of the grand final. Hepburn is starting on the ball. It's Guard who gets a kick out of the centre. Kick it. I'm not sure what the purpose of that was. He's hooked it square across the ground. Han has the run of the ball. Dargie's off after him, and that's a good tackle. The ball's gone out of play. Good tackle applied by Dargie on Mark Han. Throw in midway between right centre wing and right half forward for Claremont. Clark coming in opposing Cocker. Cocker did well. Got the ball to the side of the pack. Han has it knocked away by Lee. Lee has been able to maintain possession. Gets his kick in as he's met solidly by Edwards. Ballantyne up over the top. Cowell went without it. It was Burton, I'm sorry. Burton gets it through the pack to Edwards. Back it goes to Hepburn, who in turn gets it to Panizza. Panizza's kicked into the man running at him. That was White, but still Claremont have the numbers. Burton up against the boundary line. Now cuts back infield. There's Panizza, ever reliable in terms of providing the run. Malone gets it infield to Cowell. Cowell gets around Cocker. Cowell towards centre half forward. Storming down to meet the ball with Snow, but cutting across in front of him, Mitchell. Coming in now is Golding. Beresford did it cleverly. Hand pass wasn't effective. Snow has it. He's pulled off his kick. Taken in there by Bremen, who got it to Hutchinson and he turned to Simons. McNish is loose on the outer wing if he wants him. He gets it there by hand. McNish from the centre square, looking for something inside half forward. Kick wasn't a particularly good one. White was up, but doing good work in there was Hepburn, keeping his opponent at bay. The hand kick goes to Hutchinson. Hutchinson from the centre square puts it down towards Burton, who wraps it up about 40 metres out from goal. Matthew Burton has had a tough day, but it's certainly not his fault that Subiaco are in this predicament. He's carried their ruck in the second half of the season. Basically a first-year player, and he's performed with great distinction throughout the season. There's his kick at goal. It's not good enough, and a point results.
I saw his younger brother, Travis Burton, play in the Colts this morning, and I was very, very impressed with him. He played it right half forward for Subiaco. He's got tremendous spirit, tremendous talent, and I think we'll hear a lot more about young Travis Burton.
He's got another brother too, hasn't he, in the
Yes,
Colts?
he played in the ruck in the Colts.
Right. It's all family.
I'll make it to this level at least, I'm sure.
Well, this has been a great day for the Tigers, the football club with an outstanding record in modern-day football. Ballantyne goes down the centre corridor and finds Gilbert. He's been a rough, tough custodian at full-back. Guard up, no mark taken. Spoilt by Williams. Williams with plenty of work to do at ground level. Hand passes straight to Cowell, who's put in a vice-like grip by Coyle. It comes back towards Evans. Pushed away from him by Williams. Working hard in there was Golding also. Williams at ground level again to Lee. Defensively, or attackingly to Kemp. Coyle. Cowell the tackler. Defensively to Lee. They're cornered now on the members' wing, but the chip over the top of Gilbert lands with Cocker. He feeds Hutchinson, who turns and cuts infield and then offloads a good-looking drop punt towards the square. Burton up and pulls down the mark. He was too tall then for Ballantyne, and he'll shoot on goal from an acute angle. It's a good mark, Barry.
It was an excellent mark. Used his height to advantage. 6'10" of him.
But somehow I
Just
think
see if he can kick it.
they're
now.
betting a shade of odds in the crowd whether he'll kick this or not.
He's a good kick, actually. He's quite a skillful player for a player his size.
He's got to angle it in from there. Drop punt. Has he done it?
No.
He's offline. One behind only. So big Matthew Burton can't find the opening.
He'll have to improve on that kicking.
Not too many players have worn that number, Barry, either. 60.
No.
Again, Claremont work it to the half-back line, but Simons is out there. And that ball meant for Malone, but Simons forcing the boundary throw in. A lot of the sting, a lot of the fire has gone. Claremont have been on the boil from the word go today. Hepburn and Cocker. Cocker clean possession. Hand pass to Simons. He's forward of right half forward, just outside 50. Good drop punt towards the goal line, knocked away from Gilbert by Kemp. And it goes over the line and out of bounds in the left full forward pocket. Surprise selection today, Gary Kemp. And he's done a couple of good things.
6 kicks for the match.
Not enough.
92 points is the margin as Burton gets the ball down to Lee. He wasn't able to take it at the first attempt. Panizza hand passes towards the post, and eventually it's run out of play.
One of the surprises, there's McLeay. He's battled hard. He hasn't been very prominent. 8 kicks only, but Glenn Coyle has had 3 kicks only for Subiaco, and he's been very disappointing today.
Hepburn with the ball to the front of the pack, and Beresford. His hand pass has been shark. It's with Hutchinson now. He gets it back infield to Kemp. Kemp is cornered. Back it goes towards Coyle. That was cut off by Hand. Through the pack goes Hand. Once again, it's Panizza, the centre-half back, who provides the run. He runs at Cocker, puts it close to the boundary line. Clark's being held by Snow. Must get the kick, surely.
Snowbound.
Play allowed to go on as Cocker comes away with it. He's done pretty well in that situation, Big Shane, but Subi are lucky to have the ball. Connell has it now. Hasn't been his best game in the finals because he played some very good ones earlier, and charging out to meet the ball is Hepburn, who's now been moved back into the back pocket for Stan Burton. The kick goes out wide towards Gilbert, and Gilbert has a paddock in front of him. He's got Malone loose. If he gets rid of it quickly, he decides to take Burton on, and he's done it pretty well. Now Beresford wants it. Will it get there? Yes, it does. Bremen closing, but too late. Evans is unattended in the centre of the ground. The Subiaco players have to backtrack again. From the centre square, Evans kicks towards centre-half forward. Hutton was the player in front. Comes down to guard. Hutton still knocking it to his own advantage. He's outside 50 now. Hooks it back towards the square. That's a good kick. A telling kick. Back goes Golding. Wolf goes to ground. Off goes Willett, and after him Kickett. Kickett is very, very skillful. He attacks the ball. He tackles the ball. He doesn't tackle the player. And as a result, as often as not this afternoon, he's finished up with it. He's had an outstanding game, not so much in terms of the statistics that we keep, in terms of kicks, marks and hand passes, but he's fought hard all day to keep the ball in that forward line.
Yes, he's had 18 disposals, 11 kicks and 7 effective hand passes, so a pretty good afternoon.
Yeah, he's done well statistically as well.
There's been a lot of players moved up and down the ground by Hayden Bunton. It's an old relic, the scoreboard over there, but by gee, it's got a lot of tradition about it. Clark over the top Cocker, couldn't bring it away with him, and Clark finishes up with the football, gives it to Beresford. Beresford across towards Malone. Malone gets the goals in his sights and splits the middle.
That would have been about the longest period in the game that team would have gone without a goal, I think, Trevor.
Well, there's been a very good footballer today. He sharked all the knocks of Matthew Burton in the middle of the ground. Cocker tried to take that away, but Clark finishes up with it, Barry.
Yes.
It was good work by the big man.
Very good. He's played well too, by the way. Beresford's done the right thing here over to Malone, and Malone's played an outstanding game today. He's not a fast player, he's not a high marking player, so probably people don't take a lot of notice of what he does, but he certainly does a lot of work.
One of the first picked in my side for Claremont is Rob Malone.
98 points to margin. Cocker wins the tap, knocked on by McNish. It landed though with Edwards. Not a good hand pass. Cowell in trouble, tackled by Kemp. Dispossessed. Back comes Cowell though, tackled by Bremen this time. He's got presence of mind to give it to Gilbert. Gilbert has a look, and with a very good kick, a well-weighted kick, found Beresford, who couldn't hang on, pressured out of it by Cocker. He's now shepherded by Simons. He took a week to stand up, and the kick landed with Burton, who kicks to half forward and kick it.
Mitchell's loose.
Hand pass, though, has been sharked by Snow. He's not the flavour of the month. It's with Simons, who goes into the middle of the ground for Lee. They can set something up here. Mick Lee, went the wrong way. Now his kick lands inside half forward with Kemp. He could kick it anywhere. He goes for goal. It's off the side of his boot. It'll land in the square almost. Burton lost sight of it. And Hepburn, it's a pretty ordinary hand pass to Gilbert. He clears it out of the danger zone momentarily for the safety of the boundary. But there were a few mistakes made there. Poor old Matthew Burton, he lost sight of that. It went that high.
Hepburn was having thinking by Gilbert. It's really a good thing by Gilbert, because it wasn't a good handball by Hepburn. Put him under all sorts of pressure.
Hepburn uses his body on Burton. Edwards overruns it, but comes back to retrieve it and give it to Evans. Evans running through the middle of the ground. Kick it. Here we go again. Dale kick it. Looking for the options. He decides to go to Hutton, who's behind. He's into the back of Monaghan and over his shoulder. And Monaghan takes a free kick on the Subiaco side.
John suffered a bit of pain himself today. I think he's decided to inflict a little.
He hasn't inflicted as much as he normally does.
No, Monaghan's kick is intended for Lee, who took a clever running mark. He breaks away from centre wing and kicks the ball inside the 50-metre line. Cocker is down there, but across the front of the pack comes Gilbert. Mark not paid. Hepburn gives it back to Gilbert. He in turn sees Panizza loose, and Panizza takes the mark, and he's now starting to compile an impressive array of statistics also.
This will be his 17th kick.
Not bad for a centre-half back. He's not sure where to kick it, and it's been touched off the boot, but that was to Claremont's advantage. Edwards taps it down to Connell, wasn't so clever. He chips it across to centre half forward, and McNish takes the mark. Subiaco haven't got a full forward at the moment, though, however. Gilbert's back there on his own. Cocker's taken a good mark. Oh, it wasn't paid. Yes, it was. So Cocker will shoot for goal from about 35, 40 metres out. He's on about a 30-degree angle. And he should be able to register Subi's first goal of this final term.
Well, it wouldn't be any certainty, well.
No, I guess you're right. In fact, oh, he didn't make the distance. And there were 4 players within 20 metres of the goal, and they were all Claremont players.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like 4 Claremont players and Cocker's kicking the ball. I mean, that's really bad from Subi's point of view.
That was terrible, Barry, wasn't it?
Oh,
I mean, they've assumed that he's going to get the distance.
I've never seen it before, to be honest. 4 opposition players to none of the opposition, the goal square, and a bloke like Cocker's ability kicking.
Now Evans is finessing on the 50-metre line. Claremont are getting a little carried away here as McGovern chips it back towards Hutton. It was a clever kick, but Hutton couldn't quite get back to it. Willett breaks out of the full back line with the ball. Dargy goes across to provide the shepherd. Willett's kick towards the member's wing is marked by Lee, who can go now. He looks to centre half forward where McNish is loose again. Andrew McNish is in the centre square. Not a lot on offer. In fact, Claremont have an extra man back there for some reason. Cocker reaching over the top of Gilbert. Malone will be first back to it. Cocker's with him, but here's the extra man coming into play now. Ballantyne has it. Gets himself out of a tight situation. Negotiates Connell, and with a good kick has found Beresford. Beresford touching it down around the outer side of the ground. Hepburn provides a good shepherd. The kick wasn't a good one. Burton is able to cut it off. He hasn't got a lot of support. No one's doing anything to help him. His hand pass was intended for Snow. In comes Clark. He'll backhand it towards Panizza. Panizza gets it on quickly ahead of the play to Mitchell. Mitchell is in the centre square and he looks towards the 50-metre line. Evans couldn't quite rake that in. In comes Kickett. Evans is there with him, and the umpire elects to bounce it down on Claremont's 50-metre line.
1914 plays 4-6 in favour of a polished Claremont football team who've been the dominators of this season. Willett got a fickle bounce, favours Evans. He ran into his teammate, and also Willett, who's hurt. It comes to Hutchinson, and Hutchinson kicks it out of the danger zone. Williams up with Edwards. Edwards the best to recover, but he pushed it towards McGovern. McGovern swings around on the arc, runs to centre half forward. Long kick at goal. Hunter going back, gets a hand to it, keeps it in the field of play, and White mops up, goes right across the goal face and kicks out very wide. And that's a good bounce for Simons, who did well to get around Edwards and now kick it. And he cuts inboard. He's a player of the future. Williams, too tall for him, was Clark. Knocks it down towards Malone. Ill-directed hand pass is sharked by Williams again, who kicks shockingly towards the wing. Kemp is out there, though, for the Lions with plenty of work to do. Now Hutchinson, dragged down. Good tackle by Edwards. The umpire says, I'll have it. He's been a good player for them too, Scott Edwards, number 8.
Coyle off the ground, Trevor. It's been a disappointing end of the season for him because he's been a star for Subiaco this year.
He's managed 3 kicks this afternoon, one a very scrambled kick which travelled about 6 metres.
Malone. He sharked a lot of ruck knocks today from either side. White. Dad lost his footing at a crucial moment there, and White takes the relieving mark for Subiaco. Goes short. Burton. Arm guard off like a fly. Willett's recovered. Kicks to the wing. Dargy. Been quiet today, Ken.
Yes, this is...
it's not Dargy. In fact, it was Hutchinson that gives it to Williams, but Dargy has been quiet. Williams, long kick towards full forward. Good use of the body by McNish. He's got away with it. Runs to the goal line and bangs it through. For their 5th. They're 5-6-36. Claremont at 19-14, 128. Andrew McNish has worked very hard today. This kick from Hutchinson.
Good hand pass.
Hand pass to Williams.
Over to Williams, yes. And Williams has been very quiet also. This is a lovely mark by Andrew McNish here. Used his body well. Very good. And then realised that he was clear, and then ran in and made a certainty of it right into an open goal. You know, he's tried very hard, Andrew McNish. Look, all the Subi players have tried very hard. There's no question about that. I mean, just that Claremont have just been far too good for them.
Miles back on, and guard has gone off. as Claremont try and work it out of the centre. Kickett has a chance here. Look at that. That was brilliantly done by Dale Kickett, with players coming at him from all directions. The kick wasn't totally effective. It's marked by Golding. This is Hunter. He gets the ball well outside the 50-metre zone, down towards centre wing. Edwards misses the mark. Another chance for Subiaco now as the hand pass goes infield to Simons. He's not sure what to do with it. Eventually gives it to Connell. Connell from outside 50 gets the kick in, down towards full forward. Cowell is up and he takes the relieving mark for Claremont. It's 19-14 to 5-6. That's a margin of 92 points again as the ball goes to Wolf at centre half back. He breaks the tackle and gets it to McGovern. McGovern checked to see how much space he had, then uses the ball effectively. He picks out Malone, and players leave that scene now. They're players that Malone can kick it to. This is one of them. Beresford from inside 50 saw the opportunity to kick a goal. An opportunity he doesn't get very often, but he's missed.
Especially from a backman, Wall. I noticed you could see his eyes come really wide.
I think they started to roll in his head.
Yeah, not too many backmen they love to come right up the ground.
They came fairly wide when Bremen knocked him down earlier in the match.
16 minutes gone in the final quarter as Subi worked the ball out of defence. Golding takes the mark at right half back, and Beresford is off after him. Got him too in the nick of time. Simons has it now. The hand pass goes out wide again. Good backup out there coming from Golding as he bounces his way around the outer side of the ground. Tries to draw a player, gets it across to Lee. It wasn't a particularly good hand pass. He's run down from behind by Panizza and eventually gets it out of play, but off his boot and out on the full.
You can't believe it. They were trying to knock the ball underneath Lee's body, and Lee, in his desperate attempt to get rid of it, kicked it out on the full.
Subia'd like Waverley Oval, wouldn't they? Because they could go right out tremendously. Gee, they love going out wide, don't they? Kicking the ball out wide.
They'd probably kick it into the Dandenongs.
Yeah.
Hutchinson spoils Wolf. Connell was well thought out to Simons. Simons a bullet-like foot pass, and McNish takes a good mark at centre-half forward. He's a very good young player, Michael Simons. One of the finds of the season. McNish from outside 50, wobbly kick, but it's been marked by Kemp. Gilbert lost his footing in attempting to spoil, and Kemp will shoot on goal here from 15 metres out and on a 45-degree angle. He's already kicked two. In fact, he kicked two in 2 minutes, didn't he, earlier?
I was just going to say, this could actually tell the story, Trevor, because this is the fella that you felt that shouldn't have even been in for Subi, and yet he's the leading goal kicker. So that might tell a story.
You've got me on a technical point, haven't you, really? That's your last crunch for the year, Barry. McNish. The kick's off the side of the boot and lands fortuitously with Kemp. But no, he's worked hard when opportunities that he's had. But he's not a positive footballer, and I believe that when you've got negative players in a side, it does rub off on some of your teammates.
Yeah, he's not a direct player. He never has been, Kemp. But at the same time, he's tried very, very hard again, and well, he's their leading goal kicker.
You're going to stick with that?
I think I will. 3 out of 6.
Burton down to Williams, was well done out of the ruck. Williams hooks across his body. Almost cleverly trapped then by Cocker. Valentine went without it, gives Maguire a chance, who's back on. He hooks, but he's way offline, and it bounces through for a behind only. Maguire was cut to pieces by Tony Evans earlier in the match, and he hasn't resurfaced for a while. He was banished. I think he was taken away from the ground.
Well, Subi have outscored Claremont 2-1 in the first 18 minutes of this final quarter.
Is that a sign of things to come?
The next season, you mean?
Yeah.
Valentine clearing to the outer side of the ground. He telegraphed that, and Simons has taken a very good mark. He goes in short towards centre-half forward, but that's broken up by Panizza. Beresford's caught, but gets it to Gilbert. Gilbert back to Panizza. Panizza goes to Han. Han out wide will find McGovern. He's still on the half-back line. Now looking for something. Oh, that's dangerous, but it came off. Mitchell was surrounded by about 4 opponents. And now Han, who's run from behind the half-back line to centre wing, takes the next mark. Now he in turn picks out Kickett. Oh, gee, fell awkwardly, but back he goes again. Eyes only for the ball. Brilliantly done. Clever hand pass. Made the ball bounce nicely for his teammate. Mitchell has it. Infield it goes towards Kickett, who applied a brilliant tackle on White. That's holding the ball. And play on is the call as Cowell drives towards full forward. Willett at the back, Hepburn in front. Hunter close to the line, not favoured by the bounce. It hit the post. It hit the behind post and is out of play. Willett and Hepburn. Here's the Simons mark, one of the few high points in the afternoon for Subiaco.
He was lucky the way he landed there.
He's had a good second half, Simons. 11 kicks in the second half.
Burton gets the ball down well, taken by White, who hooks it out towards the 50-metre line, but it lands with Mitchell. His figures, Ken.
Kevin Mitchell, mark number 11, kick number 18. He's also had 10 effective hand passes, so 28 disposals to Kevin Mitchell.
He's looking for something in at centre half forward. Hutton has provided the lead. Was looking for a free kick. This is Kickett. He'd actually broken the tackle and didn't realise. It spills to Golding, and Subiaco run the ball out of the back line.
Yes, Golding with plenty of pace, but he's run into a dead end now, but he escapes. Wolf lost his footing. Now he torpedoes at the centre half forward. Gilbert used his body on Maguire and has been paid the mark. He's been a great fullback today. He's not very tall. He uses the ball beautifully. Edwards out there over the top to Cowell. He tries to outrun Bremen. He's going to do that. Panizza providing the shepherd. Cowell, another good-looking drop punt towards the pocket. Clark and Hutton go up over Burton. But Burton survives. The Claremont players are left in the wake. Clark is down. He's not seriously hurt. Golding's hand pass. Kemp saw Wolf coming. Wolf goes in, boots and all, and ties the ball up on the wing on the outer side of the ground. Clark's okay, but he certainly landed heavily. He's taking big breaths, Barry.
He is. Hutton came right down on top of him.
I did say breaths. Burton, Wolf pushes him out of the way, or tried to, then got it down to Beresford, who hooks to half forward. Williams misses the mark. Kickett swooping in, as he's done most of the day. Kicks across half forward, and the mark taken by Miles, who'll shoot for goal from 45 to 50 metres out and directly in front. 86 points to margin in favour of the Tigers. Can it be 92 at the end of this kick? It's a photo, but he's just offline. Hasn't had a big impact on the game, Jeff Miles.
No, that flight over to Waverley yesterday may have slowed him up a little bit because he had to go over and then back.
And Shane Cocker beat him well in the first half, I thought.
Yes, he played well, I thought. Shane at centre half back.
Short kick in finds Monaghan. He in turn finds Simons, and Subiaco have the ball on half back again, but this is where they get into strife. They can't get it any further up the ground. Brilliantly done by Wolf. Kemp has it now. He's going to get ambushed on the boundary line if he's not careful. Kicks it straight into Hutton. Hutton is then claimed by Kemp. He didn't have the ball, Hutton, but they're allowed to play on, and the clearing kick goes back towards the half-forward line for Subiaco. Gilbert, Valentine is out there. With him is Edwards. Cocker is off in pursuit of him, but Edwards is happy to see it over the line.
Well, at least McNeish showed him what to do when he received the ball. He just booted it long down the ground.
He's tried hard, Andrew McNeish.
Yeah.
9 marks, 20 kicks and 6 effective hand passes.
Throwing it right half forward for Subiaco. They trail 19-16 to 6-7. Cocker up over the top. It's with Hutchinson. Did well to get out of that situation. Kicks towards Maguire. It'll be a race back now, but Maguire's going to get the free kick. Well, they seem to both be in it, but I guess it doesn't really matter. We're just playing our time here in this grand final. A disappointing game it's been as far as a contest is concerned. Claremont on top from early in the first quarter, and at quarter time I guess it was fair to say that they almost had the game in their keeping. They led by 43 points at that time as Maguire kicks and gets Subiaco's third for the quarter. They move to 7-7. Claremont at 19-16. They've kicked only 1 goal in this final term, Claremont, but they still lead by 80-odd points.
Time running down on the 1991 season as far as the WAFL is concerned, and Claremont are set to take their 8th grand final. They've now won 8 and lost 8. They haven't won this yet, but they will. And they've certainly rugged up. They must have listened to the forecast in Melbourne. 19-16, 130 to 7-7, 49. I guess, Barry, when you look at the record books, before today, these sides have played 6 times in finals, and the Tigers have won 5 and Subiaco 1. So facts and figures pointed towards a big win today for the Claremont side.
Oh, yeah.
It's turned out that way.
And particularly after their performance right throughout this season, Claremont have definitely been the clear winners all
17
year.
straight
They've been
now.
the best side.
17 wins straight.
Yes, for Claremont.
Kicker. One of the best on the ground today. Evans Tried to trap it on the half volley. It didn't sit for him, and it's cleared away now by Hunter. Wobbly kick towards the members' wing. Cowell is there with McNish. Cowell does very well. Another star on the horizon of West Australian football. Hutton, great mark. Where will he be next year, I wonder? The tip is in the red, white and black colours of St Kilda. Kick it, almost sandwiched, but pulls it down.
That was a magnificent mark.
Golding and
brilliant.
Hutchinson were closing. He maintained his ground with good courage and pulled down a finger tipper.
That's a magnificent mark, that. One-handed.
Wizardry.
He was prepared to cop what was coming too. That's why he kept his eye on it.
Well, would you rate him best on the ground, Barry?
Oh, he's certainly easily one of the best players. But I mean, you could give it to him or two others. He'd certainly be worthy of it, best on the ground.
Dale kick it for number 3, but he's offline and deserved a better fate. One just wonders if he hasn't played his way into the mind of Mick Malthouse for Waverley next week. He might be on the emergency list.
Tell you what, there'd be about 14 other clubs that'd love to have him.
On a hand in the back pocket. He goes straight across the goal face. And negative approach by Subiaco. This time they'll get away with it through White, who kicks to the middle of the ground, or they won't get away for long. Rather Mitchell dropped what he should have taken. Pushed out by Subiaco's Williams. Clark goes back, gives it to Kickett. Kickett offloads from 45, but again he's offline and one behind the result. 25.5 minutes gone, 26 minutes now. Claremont 19-17, 131. Subi 7-7, 49. Bring the curtain down, well.
Sure can.
Simpson medalist will be interesting.
Yes, I think
Kickett's had 8 kicks in the last quarter.
And they remember those sort of things, don't they? But I mean, I think players like Malone and what have you have compiled their statistics over a 4-quarter period. I'm not sure. Malone's an unobtrusive sort of a player. I'm not sure that he'd catch the umpire's attention as much as he should.
Sadly.
Well, it's with Kemp in the centre of the ground. He gives it out to Dargy. Talking of medalists, the Sandover medalist gets it down towards the forward pocket, intended for Maguire, but the ball eluded him and Gilbert and has gone out of play at left full forward for Subiaco.
That was Dargy's 8th kick for the grand final.
Margin is 83 points now in favour of Subi as Burton wins the ball to the side of the pack. Ballantyne trying to knock it further afield. Kemp has it, sends it infield in the direction of Lee. It's knocked away from him by Burton. Burton steadies and kicks towards the centre of the ground. Beresford is there. He tried to get it on the half volley. Williams applied a good tackle, and there was no one in support for a change for Claremont. So Williams comes away with it and finds McNish. He's had a pretty good last quarter too.
7th kick coming up for the last quarter, his 21st for the match.
You wouldn't think that the Simpson medal could go to a player in a team that has been whipped so soundly as Subiaco have been. Burton spills the mark, comes to Cocker, tried to do a little too much, and it falls short. Clark takes the mark. Plays on quickly. Oh, Gilbert's made a bit of a mess of it. He gets it to Panizza, who backtracks and gets around Kemp. They're not out of trouble yet, actually. Now Clark clears it towards the members' side of the ground, and the throw-in will take place about 60 metres around from the Subiaco goal.
Played on after a mark then, Ken.
Oh, well, I don't suppose the umpires don't mind what happens now. The game's all over.
Yeah, it's a grey area, that one. Shouldn't be. 19-18 to 7-7. Cocker up in front, brings it down to Lee. Lee from just outside 50 to the top of the square, but Gilbert didn't hang on to the mark. Coming through strongly is Ballantyne. Loses it to Maguire, whose leg. He'll take the free kick for Subiaco. A chance for their 8 at the 28.5-minute mark of this last quarter of what has been a lopsided grand final.
Was he legged, or did he sort of fall forward himself?
I don't know, but he said the umpire indicated a trip.
He tripped him, yeah.
He's got the kick, and he lines up from 25 and splits the middle. Straight as a gun barrel for his second. Quinton Maguire, a late recovery after an early bath from Tony Evans. He was in the back pocket, and Evans ran him around like a monkey on a stick.
Talking about the Simpson medal, I'd say that you'd have to look at the first quarter when the pattern of the game was set, and Mark Hand, the Claremont captain on a wing, definitely set the pattern for Claremont's play, I thought, and has continued to play well on a wing throughout.
If it goes to a Claremont supporter, you might get it.
Well, I'd be in line, I think, Trevor.
Must be some sort of a medal for you.
It's not actually chosen by the umpires, is it?
No, I think there's a panel now, Wally.
Yeah.
Back in the middle. Lee dragged off it. Cocker, Golding, Simons. Got a call from McNish, centre wing. Hooks it around his body, only about 20 metres. It finds Williams, who's worked very hard.
Williams spears it down to the half-forward line, and Maguire takes another mark. He kicks in towards the pocket. Lee is there, but he fell over at the crucial moment. Gives Edwards the chance, and there's the siren. Claremont have won the 1991 Premiership, and they've won it in very convincing style. 77 points is the margin. Claremont 1918, 132, have defeated a disappointing Subiaco, 8-7, 55, and Claremont, the trendsetters, the pace setters in the league all season, have completed what I suspect is an appropriate victory. They lost only 2 games during the qualifying rounds, won the second semi-final by 68 points against this Subiaco team, and have now gone on and notched a premiership victory that was rightfully theirs.
Thank you very much, Wally Foreman. It's congratulations all round for this very professional outfit. And there can be no prize for second today, and unfortunately for the Subiaco Football Club, it's been a dark day for them. The Colts, the reserves and the league all beaten in grand finals today. A great roar goes up from the crowd. Rightly so. Well done, Kevin Mitchell. Mark Hepburn, controversial.
The cheers of the Gerard Nation, who's just come out onto the ground.
Rightly so too, Wally. He's been an example as far as a coach is concerned. The vanquished, there's no prize for them, but the spoils of this game go to men like Gerard Nation and his band from Claremont.
Well, it hasn't been an easy year for Claremont, despite the fact that they've won so many games, Trevor. Neesham and the club have had to endure a lot of criticism in regards to their handling of Eagles players. To his credit, he's given many players away. He let Malesso go, then he let Turnbull go, he let Higgins go, he let Malaxis go. He's never been one to stand in the way of a player who felt that he wasn't getting the opportunities at Claremont, and he's been prepared to give away an enormous amount of talent, and he's really earned the respect of all of his players at Claremont, and they've responded today in the most appropriate manner by rewarding him with this premiership. I'll win any aria, Trev.
No. Song written by Hoagie Carmichael. Well performed by the Claremont bunch, and hasn't he been a great player? Darryl Panizza, Media Guild Footballer of the Year, the Magic Nissan Footballer of the Year, and an outstanding way to finish up for 1991 after being part of the side in 1981, Barry. That's a big effort from Darryl Panizza.
It's a big effort, and he's one of the older players, and he's led by example. They've sent him back to, or put him back to centre half back, and he's never looked back, and he's had a grand year, played in the state side, and all credit to Panizza and Claremont.
So let's check the final score here from Subiaco Oval. Grand final day, crowd of in excess of 22,000. 1918, 132 the Tigers. The Subiaco 8-7-55 in a whitewash by 77 points. Ken, we're about to go down to hear the official presentation and to watch the presentation. Just quickly, some of the leading kick getters while we're waiting for that.
For Claremont, Rob Malone, 7 marks, 21 kicks, 10 effective hand passes. Andrew McGovern, 6 marks, 19 kicks, 4 hand passes. Mark Hand, 8 marks, 23 kicks and 8 effective hand passes. Kevin Mitchell, brilliant throughout, 11 marks, 18 kicks and 10 effective hand passes. Dale Kickett, 5, 18 and 10. Darryl Panizza, 3 marks, 17 kicks and 9 hand passes. For Subiaco, Andrew McNish, 10 marks, 22 kicks and 6 effective hand passes. Malcolm Williams, 15 kicks and 3 hand passes. Michael Simmons, 15 kicks and 7 effective hand passes. And Mitchell White in defence, 4 marks, 16 kicks and 7 effective hand passes.
Let's go down to the chairman of the commission, Dr. Peter Tannock.
Claremont players, congratulations on a magnificent performance. You are the standard bearer for West Australian football this year, and one of the best WAFL teams I think that we've seen for some years. Well done and congratulations.
To the Football Commission, to Subiaco Football Club, we've been there a couple of times. We're on the end of a hiding from them in '88. I know it's bitterly disappointing. To you, thanks. To my own players, congratulations. It's been a very, very pleasing year. I mean, the attitude of the young players has been terrific, and I think, even though it was pretty one-sided today, I think you'll agree that they played with flair and played with creativity, and I think that Australian rules is a game that you can express yourself, and our players did. It is the land of the free. We are a bit disappointed there's one player wasn't there today, but we'll come back next year and win it for him. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like also to offer a word of congratulation to Subiaco Football Club on a magnificent season. They played in 3 grand finals today and really gave an outstanding performance all season. Congratulations on making it to the grand final and commiserations on losing.
Thank you, John. Shortly, but I wonder could Mark and Gerard stand by again, because I'm going to call upon Mr. Stuart Brown, the General Manager of Pepsi 7-Up bottlers in Western Australia, to present this magnificent Pepsi Cup to Claremont. So without any further ado, Stuart, if we could have Mark and Gerard forward again to receive this trophy today.
Subiaco thought they had their hands on a cup similar to this in the reserves, but South pinched it off them.
It's a weightlifting job.
Now,
once again, Stuart, to you and your company, our sincere thanks on behalf of football in Western Australia for the magnificent job. Maybe Mark will get you to say a few words on this occasion.
Unusual sort of cup, isn't it? It's a great trophy.
How's it feel?
This man has played brilliantly today, Mark Hand.
I think you only learn or appreciate a winning grand final when you've lost one, as we did last year. I'll take the opportunity to thank Subiaco for the game today. I suppose, blokes, you learn on a loss like this, and hopefully you'll get the opportunity again next year, but that's life, and we're going to enjoy it. Thanks, obviously, to everyone who's come down today. We were a bit concerned that we weren't going to have many people down, but it's terrific to see you all down here, and I hope you can come back to the footy club tonight and enjoy it with us. Thanks very much.
Well, he's been a fine example. A fine example.
Round of applause for Pepsi, the #1 supporters of the West Australian Football League. Stuart, our sincere thanks to Pepsi 7-Up bottlers. And now I'm going to ask Peter Tannick to come back, and also the assistance of Gerard Neesham here, because we're going to award the individual medallions to the winning team here, the players representing the team today. And stay on, ladies and gentlemen, because immediately after that we'll have the presentation of the Simpson Medal from Paul Simpson. And might I say, when we thank the crowd here today, we thank you on behalf of football, because some 23,000 people turned out today, and people were predicting a lot less than that. And that's a tremendous
that is a good crowd, a great crowd. Let's go around the table for our Simpson Medal selection, especially from you, Barry.
I'll go for Kickett.
I would say Hand or Malone. I'm undecided. I think Malone probably the most deserving, but it may well be Hand for his very inspiring performance early on.
Ken Casillas?
A toss-up between Han, Kevin Mitchell and Rob Malone. Any of those 3, in my opinion.
Right, I'll go for Dale Kickett. Brian Beresford, the first one to receive his medallion from Dr. Tannick. Let's run through the team. Great fullback.
He did well today,
Scotty
Gilbert.
Edwards.
6 marks and 13 kicks to Phil Gilbert.
Scotty Edwards.
He played well too, Edwards.
Valentine, in fact. Now Edwards.
Burton had a good game. 14 kicks and 7 effective hand passes. As Darryl Panizza gets his. He had 17 kicks. There's Paul Burton.
Player of the future, Ken Burton.
Oh, indeed.
He played well, Andrew McGovern. Outstanding.
Yes.
Jason Norris.
19 kicks to Andrew McGovern. Jason Norris off injured in the second half.
Malone there.
Oh, Rob Malone. I hear the wrong names coming out of the thing. There's Jason Norris.
He's one behind. Gerard
He
Neesham's
played
one
well,
behind.
Ken. Jason Norris.
Darren Cow.
Dale Kickett, our
Tony
Simpson
Evans.
medal favourite.
18 kicks and 10 effective hand passes to Dale Kickett.
Johnny Hutton.
But he does so much other work, though.
Yes, his body work's tremendous, Dale Kickett.
Fantastic.
Tony Evans, a brilliant rover. The Eagles lack rovers, and perhaps he could be a player of the future for them.
John Hutton's taking the football. He kicked his 100th goal with Trevor.
It's a good idea. Wrapped up in the helmet. Jeff Miles, busy weekend. Clark, given the job of #1 ruckman today, responded to that challenge. Guard kicked a brilliant goal in the first quarter over his head, and that'll be remembered as one of the highlights of the match. Kevin Mitchell, outstanding.
He played well. I agree with Ken. It could be a chance, this fella, for the Simpson medal too. I thought he played very well.
Clinton Wolfe, good recruit. Mark Hepburn, who was selected today ahead of Brendan Barrows. We don't know why Barrows was left out, maybe because of injury, but here's Mark Hand.
He played well.
He's led by example today.
23 kicks to Mark Hand with his 8 hand passes. Never ceases to amaze me. Very skillful player.
Comments from Ken Casellas and Jared Neesham now. And is that deserved or not? It certainly is. Jared Neesham walks away full of pride in that Claremont team that stand behind him.
Ben Allen, the last Claremont player to win the Simpson medal. We're assuming, of course, it will be a Claremont player. 3 cheers for the Tigers.
You always feel sorry for the vanquished. If we can get a shot of them moving away. Boots off, heads down, completely demoralised by what happened here this afternoon. And
I've been in that position before.
Have you?
Yes, at the MCG, walking off the ground, beaten.
You've got to sit and watch all this.
Oh,
That's
it's terrible. Yes, it's terrible.
Still, they'll get another day.
Oh, they'll come back next year.
And Michael Simons can be proud of his game today. We're about to hear the announcement, hopefully, of the Simpson medal. We're just waiting for the ground commentator, Gary Carbolt, to...
All right. Keeping us in suspense as far as the Simpson
I think
medal
something's
is
gone
concerned.
wrong here, Trevor.
Yes, no doubt. It'll be forthcoming very soon, so stay on for it.
Yes, there's a delay.
Might be a dead heat, and they might be looking for a second medal. There was a dead heat once
David
before.
Pretty and Gary Gibolini, wasn't it?
Yes, and also Gary Shaw, the Claremont Rover, dead heated the Simpson medal when Claremont won back in 81.
Well, let's get it right.
Gary Shaw certainly won it. I don't know whether he did heat it or not. Did he, Ken?
Was there a dead heat in that year?
The tie was Gary Shaw and Morris Rioli in 1981.
Yep. And what a memorable grand final that was.
And in 74, Gibolini and Pretty tied.
It certainly was pretty tied, well.
So they might be looking for a second medal, Barry.
Yes, they're still trying to work it out.
Still no announcement on this Simpson medal. Ken's looking for the medal, but he can't find it yet.
I remember when Barry Cable won a few of these Simpson medals. How many did you win, Barry?
I won 3 of them, but I didn't make it tough like these guys are making it.
So suspense lingers here at Subiaco Oval. It looks as though the Claremont players are going to do their lap of honour
while they're waiting.
Have to stand by and wait for the announcement. But there goes a very proud football club.
I wonder if Johnny Hutton will take that trophy home as well as the footy. He's got hold of that trophy. He doesn't want to give it away.
Be hard to get off him too.
I think so.
They've been the trendsetters of West Australian football, and they deserve to carry that flag around Subiaco Oval today. And beaten last year by Swans, redeeming themselves today by 77 points over a disappointing Subiaco. But you can only play as well as the opposition lets you, and they never let Subiaco get a sniff of the football today.
There were some strange coaching moves by Bunton, I thought, at the start of this game that were very hard to follow, with John Georgiades starting in the forward pocket and Glenn Coyle, a centreman, starting at centre-half forward.
As one might have thought, even kicking into the breeze in the first quarter, that he could have even started Bremen off in defence, or even on the ball.
Yes, played Todd Bremer as a ruck rover or on a half-back flank for a start. And poor old Todd Bremer, a 10-goal kicker last weekend, finished up the match with 4 kicks only in the grand final. Very disappointing for such a talented player.
Week by week, football is a funny proposition, Barry. You can be up there 1 minute and down on your bumpers the next, as Todd Bremen found out today.
That's what it's all about. There's no question about that.
I think they've found the Simpson Medal winner, or the name of the Simpson Medal winner. He's racing across towards
Here
the
it
dais
is.
now.
John O'Connell's going to give it to him now. Tell him who won it.
Well, they're conferring, Dr. Tannick and John O'Connell.
Dr. Tannick and John O'Connell. Now,
can anyone lip read?
Yeah, I think they've worked it out.
He said Barry Cable.
I think they've worked it out.
This is a proud moment for the Claremont Tigers. John Hutton.
I've just won me money up here in the box.
They'll be singing that song around Claremont tonight, and rightly so. Claremont, the WAFL premiers for 1991. Their 8th flag.
And now in front of the 3-tier stand, let's hear it for them, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, the Claremont Tigers.
Well, the crowd have dispersed, but still a healthy crowd remaining, and they're getting a good round of applause as they jog past the 3-tier, now the 2-tier stand just to the right of our commentary box, coming back towards the dais. There's Gilbert, played a great game at fullback today. One can imagine him looking at football honours of a higher level in the very near future as well.
That trophy at the back there looks as though it's a corpse at the moment, doesn't it? Strung between Darryl Panizza and is it Dale Ballantyne?
Here we go. Let's go back to the centre stage, and very shortly the announcement of the Simpson Medal for this 1991 Grand Final.
Good, thank you, Gary. I just wanted to say a few words first. Voting in the Simpson Medal is decided by the umpires and an independent observer who cast 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 votes. In the event of a tie, then a league official decides on the winner. The Simpson Medal, I believe, is the oldest of its sort in Australia. 46 years ago, the first one was handed out at Langley Park. Since then, there's been 120 medals, and each one has been remembered with glory by the recipient. And so the glory day today is the Will-o'-the-Wisp Dale Kickett.
Worthy winner, outstanding performance. He'll wear a medal that's been worn proudly, as mentioned, by so many great players over the years.
Firstly, I'd like to thank my teammates and my coach, Jared, the WAFL public, especially the Claremont supporters, the WAFL Commission. That's it, thanks.
So that's it for 1991 as far as the WAFL is concerned. Dale Kickett, triumphant with the Simpson Medal around his neck, and one of the main reasons why Claremont today won by 77 points in this grand final. 1918, 132, the Subiaco 87-55. Thanks very much for your company throughout the course of the season. I'd like to thank my co-commentators, Wally Foreman, Barry Cable and Ken Casellas, and to all the others that have contributed to our Saturday afternoon sport of live league football. See you again soon.